You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. All right, here we go. Hey, Cap, of course, please keep me anonymous. Over 20 years of dating women, I have found most of them to be childish and narcissistic. However, I listened to my biology and continued the pursuit. 3 years ago, I discovered my partner of 7 years had been cheating for over a year after I proposed to her. This final straw completely changed my outlook on women. I left the USA and traveled to Asia for 1 year and discovered that the passport thing is absolutely true. Women are traditional, fun, pleasant, and beautiful. However, I still can't shake the feeling that women are selfish by nature, and I will eventually uncover it after enough time. All right, well, you have 3 questions, so before we go on to that, I want to emphasize the importance of the individual here. And I don't want to slip into actual forms of bigotry and hatred, like, oh, women are whores, womans, because it's the same thing that girls do. All men are pigs. I hate men. You can look it up on Twitter, and that's perfectly acceptable for them to say. They don't get canceled. You have to judge people on individual merits. And okay, you were with this gal for 7 years. Things seem to be going okay. And then all of a sudden, she just was cheating on you sometime. Were there signs? I have a hard time imagining there weren't signs, because I don't think cheating is endemic to the DNA or what do women have? Which chromosome do women have? Is it 2 X's or just 1 Y? I don't think it's in their DNA. Well, it's in everyone's DNA to get the best in polygamy or polyamory or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, if Henry Cavill walks through the door, you're going to want to bang him. All right. But is she? Not all women are helpless sacks of genetic goo that can't, just robots. And if there's a slightly more attractive man, there has to be some kind of tell. Did she major in dumb stuff? Was she promiscuous when you were dating her? Because there's a courtship time. There's a time to figure it out and investigate and get to know her. But to answer it, no, there's no way. There's no way, 100% guarantee that person ain't going to change. There is no guarantee, because you can't guarantee. There's no such thing as 100% guarantee. And it depends on how much risk you want to take. There's things you could do, like just know that it could go that way. Some people say you can't fall in love without exposing, getting hurt a little bit. I'll go along with that, but you can be not naive, so the hurt and the pain doesn't hurt that much. You're like, oh, that's the way that one went. Okay, fine. What was it? It was, hang on, let me go back to your question here. Let me pull it up. There was another thing I was going to make. Can't shake the feel. Oh, aren't selfish by nature and eventually uncover it through enough time. What you can do is, I think what a lot of modern men do is, all right, let's say girls are really good at hiding it, or they could change on a dime, whatever. There's no way to trust them. Well, there's your answer. You can't trust them. And a lot of guys today, especially if they've been divorced, like the worst breakup is your first breakup. The worst divorce is your first divorce. So, although, I don't know, have men sending in their divorce stories. But you could take measures and maneuvers. What's like, we could spend some time together. We can hang out, maybe even fall. But you know what? I've seen enough. I've seen enough here where it's and it happened. It's part of your psychological makeup now. You got screwed over. Your trust was betrayed. Well, you're not going to do that again. And having the street smarts about you, I think it's like getting it's almost identical to getting you get whatever, the flu or the measles or the chicken pox, whatever you got as kids, and then it built up a resistance. It built up an immunity to it. So the next time you got chicken pox again, it was nowhere near as bad. You may not even know that you got it. Now, falling in love and then having the girl cheat on you again, that's going to suck no matter what, but it's not going to come anywhere near as bad because you're a little bit more street smarts. You're aware of it. You're not caught with your pants down. But Turning it up one more notch above that, it would be where I think a lot of modern men today, Vince at Masculine Geeks, he had a gal at one time who was never married, but he had a gal at one time and she did the whole bullshit thing. He's like, no, it's not going to happen. There's no marriage. There's no wedding. I'm not committing to you. I'm dating other girls. You can be my main plate. You're going to obey my rules and obey me. And if you don't like me, find someone else. But when I'm here, I'm the man. You do as I say. But Vince is nowhere near as naive as well as any of us were when we were in our 20s. And I think that's the new normal. I think especially the guys who've gone through it are going to be like, yeah, it's not going to happen again. No, we're not getting married. I always wondered, why do you guys get married again? Like, you got to explain that to me in 2023. It didn't work the first time, and what you thought was bad luck? You didn't learn about the joys of family court and divorce law? So I don't think it'll be anywhere near as bad as what you went through before until a woman proves to you. I mean, again, I'll say it again. They're half the formula. Women have a responsibility. They're the ones that got to prove to you. And if they're whining and complaining and they're getting fat, yeah. But if you're never going to marry the girl in the first, you're never going to get committed and like keep them at arm's length. Okay, we can have a friendly courting relationship. We can have sex. We can have fun. Maybe we even like each other. Heaven forbid. And maybe we even love. Maybe I care about you. But, the frog and the scorpion, you're not going to doubt their nature. It's not going to be a shock. And so you hedge. You're not living with me. We're not sharing bank accounts. We're not getting married. Here's a contract. I know guys who aren't even married. Like, here's a contract. We're dating, but in no time, if we have kids, this one guy in particular, he's like, if we have kids, I get sole custody. Now, how much these legal agreements are going to carry into court of law is another issue if it comes to that. But you could take measures both financially, legally, psychologically, emotionally, financially, so it's nowhere near as painful the second time around, if the second time happens to come. And in the meantime, guys, stop bearing the burden 100%. Women are not robots. They have agency. I mean, I'd act like they'd, oops, I'm just playing dumb. I didn't know you didn't want me sucking this dick. I mean, I thought, excuses and reasons. Where was I going with that? Just, you should, oh, yes, right. They do have, here, the internet goes out now. Hang on. Well, it's taking its time to get back. The South Dakota internet gods are angry. Let me pull this up. Well, okay, here we go. We're back. They know, and they have responsibility to prove to you. They're not robots. They got to prove to you either through being kind and sweet and doting, and we're just like, yeah, she ain't cheating. Every once in a while you get that guy like, nah, she ain't stepping out. I mean, there's no way. Like we're two in love. Remember that? But that's at least half of her responsibility. And in today's environment, well, yeah, I'd say it's even more than half. You got to prove that you're not like everyone else. So now you have 3 questions. Is it possible to both love and hate women at the same time and still keep your sanity? What was it? Love and hate often come from the same origin. Like you hate people that you love and still care about. That's why you hate them, because they're not doing what you want them to. Usually they're leaving you and not having anything to do with your life. I think indifference and apathy is like super hatred. We're like, no, I don't even care about you, man. But I'm so angry, I hate you. Usually there was love at the beginning of that somewhere. So can you love and hate women at the same time? Yeah, I mean, anyone. Like I'm sure women have the same complaint too about men. Like you love and you hate the guy at the same time. I can see that more so with women. And still keep your sanity. Yeah, as long as you understand the origins and reasons for those emotions. You're programmed to want to have sex with women. You're programmed to be attracted to women. And yes, you are programmed to love women when they achieve a certain standard. They achieve a certain mental, emotional attraction. And then they'll do, just so you know, when you get older and women get older, they revert to like 4-year-olds at times where you're like, what happened to the savvy 28-year-old I was dating that had her shit together? And now you're asking me, what should I wear outside? Like, why don't you step outside and look? It really sometimes it just becomes so hell. Oh, the car broke down. Well, what did you do before you met me that the car broke? Right. Well, that's what you're going to do now again. And they're different. And these female eccentricities grate on men. We're like, oh my God, what the hell? Where did this come from? And I'm sure men are the same thing. Oh my God, he farts in the bed all the time. I don't know necessarily hate. I think it's actually quite normal. But yeah, I think you can maintain your sanity as long as you're not so overly emotionally invested in that person that it's the number one thing in your life. That your life is ruined if they go away, because then there's depression and then you will maybe not go insane, but you'll definitely suffer some mental damage. As long as you're like, nope, you're not the number one thing. And not to say I'm the number one thing or I'm the most, but I don't need you to have a successful and contented life. My happiness is not contingent on you. It's great that you're around. I really love you and it's great to have, but yeah, if you do these weird, crazy things, then, oh God, you cheated on me. Let's say it's the worst. As long as you have correctly assessed that situation in your relationship with women or anyone else, when they, the scorpion stings the frog, which isn't always going to happen. They're not all scorpions, but if it happens, you're not shocked. You're not depressed. You're not angry. You're not pissed off. And therefore, you're also not insane. So knowing reality on the ground. Yes, here's my 9.5 wife. Now let's use girlfriend. Here's my 9.5 girlfriend. She gets guys hitting on her all the time. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time, but we're not getting married. Yeah, we're committed, but I am fully aware that there are a ton of guys at her office that are trying to bang her. And the day might come that happens. And if it does, she's acting weird and she's not picking up her texts as much as she used to. And her yep, I'm going to find out. And that's the way it's sad. That's the way that one went. But I know it was going to end. Do you hate her? Sure, fine. Why not? She lied to you. But you're not insane. You have to know the reality on the ground. You have to know what the real world is. As long as you got that, you're never going to avoid pain. There's no elimination of risk. But if and when the bad thing happens, a lot of girls, I guess they got to face the same thing with a true alpha guy. Like, I think we're dating, but I think he's banging his secretary. A lot of times it's just like, yeah, he probably is. Now, do you want to keep him or not? Okay, well, he's going to bang the hot girl because he's whatever, super duper rich, handsome guy. And girls, I'm sure, didn't like guys for that, but they didn't lose their sanity over it either. So that's your first question. Do you think it is ever safe to let your guard down and fall in love? I don't think you're going to be able to control whether or not you fall in love. You will either fall in love or you won't. She will have a personality and a physical beauty and a charm and a sweetness and vibrancy about her that you'll just, wow, I really love her. That's not under your control, to be perfectly honest. It's your expectations. Like, oh, I really love this gal. This is great. And you being smart enough to say, okay, now am I going to commit to this person? Like, you could fall in love with a gal who's like, your personality just gets along. Of all the different millions and billions of people out there, there's probably a girl out there that you would genuinely fall in love with, but she's just going to go and ride the cock carousel. Probably a really bad girl for you. It happens. Are you going to acknowledge and start thinking with this head and say, okay, we can go have some fun and all this, but this is, until she proves otherwise, maybe do I love her? Right. But I'm not going to, what's the word? I guess invest would be the word. Not going to trust her. but there should be it's their responsibility to convince you can let your guard down. So it's not even a thought in your mind. Look, some of you must have had that experience. Like I dated not a lot. We're talking like maybe 3 girls where I'm like, no way they're not stepping out on me. No way. Okay, let me 2 of them. I'm like, no, they're not stepping out on me. It's not happening. Just because I trusted, you knew they made it wasn't even a concern or an issue, but those are exceptionally rare women. I mean, they're marriage material too, but I wouldn't be getting married today either. But yeah, so I think to answer it, do you think it's ever safe? Yeah, but the women have to convince you of that. We're like, oh yeah, I got nothing to worry about. That's not your job. How much time is enough to regain trust in foreign women to prove their honesty to you after so many years of disappointments from Western women? It's not an issue of time. It's an issue of number of experiences you have with foreign women. By the way, I'm sure all the men outside the United States will say, yeah, our women cheat too. I mean, it's just, they're humans. Probably not as much. And I would not worry about that just yet. Let the women prove it. How long? I don't know. Depends on how many gals you date. You might be in a country where they're just banging. I think in Thailand, one guy, what was it? He's an older guy. He was from Germany or somewhere in Europe. And he has a gal, and I think it's his like main girlfriend. He's under the clear understanding that if he doesn't like buy her stuff occasionally, kind of help her out a little bit financially, she'll go find another guy because that's her job. Is he in love? But he's acutely aware of the situation. But does he have trust? Yeah, as long as the rules, as it pertains up to the point of the rules of engagement, yeah, he trusts her. But you're going to have to date. Anyway, the point with that is I think it's tying like, well, yeah, they'll step out on you if they got a better offer. And were you dating ever all that much in a committed relationship in the first place? But I would go out, find some girls, date, have a good time. You're obviously not in a condition to be in a relationship. I mean, a loving, committed, monogamous relationship. That's what I'm saying. And just take your time. And then stop worrying what you got to do. How about it's the girl that's got to prove it to you? How does that sound for a change? You do your part. If you're looking for a monogamous relationship, you do your part. You don't step out. You say, I'm looking for this. This is what maybe we don't have it today. That's fine. And if you're not, fine, we can go and date other people. But, I'm looking to get married. So the day's going to come. There's going to be a girl. And might be okay. But have you thought about that? That, again, they're not atomic robots. They have agency. They got to prove it to you. And so just go and date foreign girls in different countries. See what happens. I'll give you a perfect example. I would generally trust Asian women more than I would former Soviet bloc women, Eastern European women, because of all the sex scams and the mail order bride scams. I have a buddy who's on his 5th mail order bride, and every single one of them have fucked some other guy. So there's some cultural things there, but you're in no rush. You don't have to answer this. Go overseas. Go do a little bit of dating. And how about have the girl prove it that she's loyal to you? And even then, no. You have your money in a different account. You're like, no, here are the rules. And yeah, man, you don't ever, I hate to say it, but no, you don't ever, you can commit fully. You can love the gal, but you never like give your heart and soul. You always are like, yeah, there's a chance that might happen. And then if it does, you're like, oh, that's really sad. But you know what? Ain't going to cry over it. So, all right, bye. Have fun with your latest guy. No, you don't get any money because it wasn't a trust or whatever. But, yeah, is it possible loving? Yeah. Do you think it's ever safe to let your guard down and fall in love? Yeah, as long as you got your toe in reality. How much time is enough to regain the trust in foreign women? As long as it takes them to prove it to you. There you go. Let's go to super chats. Nonstop Dre 2 bucks. Cappy is finally admitting he doesn't like what. No, I. It's just like people. I hate most people. I'm not kidding. Dre, you know this. Man could kill all day and his job wouldn't be done. I don't like people. Americans anyway, Westerners. They're spoiled, they're weak, they're sad, they're parasitic. Male or female. I do not hate you because you happen to have a certain genitalia between your legs. I let everybody prove themselves to me one way or another, and usually I know which way it's going to go. But generally speaking, yes, I would, no, it's not even don't, it's like, don't trust. And I think the bigger thing is I don't respect. Again, I don't respect most people. So it's not, not really narrowing it down. It's not that I don't like women in general. I don't respect them. You got to, but that's everyone. You got to prove yourself to me. And that's the only thing fair is you have to you're going to pass up on some great friendships, perhaps some great romantic relationships, some great sex, some good intellectual, some good business partners, good business associates, if you start being essentially bigoted. But what's great about America is you don't have to wait long for them to show you what idiots they are and for you to begin hating them. It won't take that long. Nonstop Dre, $2. Do you ever let your guard down around the GF? Not really, no. I mean, in some ways, yeah, I'm not like, but she goes, she goes. That's how it goes. I don't control that. I'm not, here's the other thing. I'm not like, oh, what if look, if they're going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you. I'm not going to like, give me your phone. Where are you going? Like, if you're going to do it, go, just let me know. And, yeah, it'll hurt a little bit, but I'll be over it. I have things to do. I feel bad for the guys where you got family and that's your love and then well, it was Kevin in sales. I was drunk. All right. I don't know. Maybe I've been through enough where I'm just kind of, yeah, of course every guy's had it. I bet you if you took all the guys that were cheated on, it's not necessarily a thing of distrust. It's just like, oh yeah, this thing again. Like, wow, we figured out the cheat code. We know, we got to see the code, the source code. Yeah. Mark Magana, $5. Timely video. My ex-girlfriend contacted me out of the blue last night. Talked for 2 hours. She's still pretty and I still care, but she's also still drama. No thanks. Well, right. Well, there's a perfect example where you still care. You love the girl, but you're smart. You're not going to kid. You know not to do that. Talk for 2 hours. Geez, Mark, you're a highly compensated man. Is that really 2 hours? Is that worth your time? My truth, the king. Downey Jr. said it best. You never go full love. And Ross the Skunk for another generous $10. One of the best things I learned working 2 jobs and being in charge of emotional women, just tell them what to do gracefully. And if you F up, just fix it. Funny thing, they listen. Wait, run this page. Okay. One of the best things I learned working 2 jobs and being in charge of emotional women. Were you like at an insane asylum? Why were they emotional? What in capacity, like, and why are they working if they're emotional? Just tell them what to do gracefully. And if they F up, they just have to fix it. Funny thing, they listen. Yeah. Women are not these helpless little beasts out in the wild. They can work. They can follow and stride. Your dating experiences guarantee you it sucked. But what about working relationships? I've worked with women. They're no better or worse than the men. Then again, I worked in banking where every guy in banking is pretty much a small dicked asshole. So, Nonstop Dre, $2. Why are people offended by indifference? Means you don't care. At a real yet unconscious level, they couldn't explain it. They are offended when you don't pay attention to them. Because you are literally saying you're not worth my time. You're not even worth the response. When you argue with someone, you only argue with that person because you care about what that person thinks and somehow you want something out of it. It could be a business relationship, a romantic relationship, a friendship relationship even. But like when you just ignore someone, those homeless people like don't make eye contact. And like they keep trying to sometimes get pissed. Well, you think you're better than me? Yeah. Then you look at them. Then you're like, fuck right off. Remember a homeless guy in France? He's panhandling, and I was in a bad mood. And he came up to me and said, I don't speak French. He said, oh, American, I speak English. I said, do you know fuck you? And everyone, all of a sudden, everyone knows fuck you. And everyone at the little outdoor cafe looked. He said, fuck me? I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Because I was so pissed. And he had a dog. And our strategy was I take the dog. You know, if I could not run, I'd kill it. Because I don't want to go, but I'd still probably go to jail. But the dog wasn't that big. So then he'd have to that was his weak spot. I was in no mood. And then he turned around and walked away. So if you ignore people, see that is like almost too much interaction. Just ignoring the guy, like if I just sat there and ignored him, that would even be worse. All right, there you go. That's it. More on the way. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.